On June 2nd, 2020, a bill called the Tourism Levy Bill was passed in the House of Assembly, but never made it to the Senate. In essence, it never became law. For those of you who are not aware, for any bill to become the law of the land, it must first be passed by the lower house, which is the House of Assembly, and then by the upper house, which is the Senate, and then forwarded to the Governor General. Well, that bill, after its passage through the House of Assembly, was supposed to have been discussed on June the 4th, 2020 in the Senate. However, it never made it to the Senate because, according to the Alan Chasney government, and I quote, "We have decided to remove it off the order paper for the Senate at this time to allow the opportunity for further review," end of quote. That tourism levy bill sought to embrace the informal accommodation sector into the tourism product. I'm sure you have heard of Airbnb. This is a fast-growing trend all over the world where tourists, instead of staying at hotels, opt to rent accommodation from private individuals. In my view, the intention of the bill was a good one. However, there were some aspects that were not clear, and that caused some people to express concern. The government's reaction to the concerns expressed was swift, and by June the 3rd, it issued a statement which read in part, and I quote, "Our small tourism businesses are a very important sector, and it is therefore equally important to us and them that we get it right," end of quote. I give the Alan Chasney government credit for listening and reacting so quickly. Some people were of the view that the government did not know what they were about, passing a bill in the lower house and then withdrawing it before it became law, that he made a boo-boo and all of that. St. Lucia, give credit where credit is due. The bill was withdrawn within 1 day because of the concerns expressed. Let me inform you that this is not the first time that concerns have been expressed about bills presented by the government of St. Lucia. Just ask some veteran journalists about a little something called Article 361. Yes, Article 361. I believe most of our current crop of journalists was either in Pampas or at primary school in 2005 when the St. Lucia Labour Party government amended the criminal code of St. Lucia to include Article 361. However, this Article 361 was first brought to the House in 2003, but the amendment to the criminal code was passed in the House of Assembly and the Senate in December of 2005. And it became a law on December 31st, 2005. So St. Lucia, for those of you too old to remember, too young to know, or those of you who pretend to forget, Article 361 was designed to silence journalists. Article 361 states, and I quote, "Anyone who willfully publishes a statement, tale, or news that he or she knows is false and that causes or is likely to cause injury or mischief to a public interest commits an indictable offense and is liable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years," end of quote. The inclusion of Article 361 into the criminal code of St. Lucia was widely criticized, not just locally, but also regionally and internationally. In fact, an international organization called Freedom House, in its discussion of Article 361, noted in an article published on April 27, 2006, that Prime Minister Anthony had, and I quote, "accused media personalities of engaging in a disinformation campaign designed to undermine his ruling SLP," end of quote. Local journalists and other media interests kept on placing pressure on the St. Lucia Labour Party government to revoke Article 361. How are they take them on? So January 2006 came and 361 was still part of the criminal code. February 2006 came and 361 was still part of the criminal code. Then March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October came, and 361 was still part of the St. Lucia Criminal Code. It was in November of 2006 that Article 361 was deleted from the Criminal Code. In reacting to the deletion of Article 361, journalist Peter Richards, in an article for the Impress Service News Agency and published on November 13, 2006, noted that for 3 years, Article 361 hung like an albatross around the necks of the people here, especially the journalists. He quotes then Labour government Prime Minister Kenny Anthony as telling Parliament, "We have always considered ourselves a government that listens, a government not infallible, a government always ready to correct itself in the best interests of the people." End of quote. St. Lucia, I give credit to Honorable Kenny Anthony. He listened to the concerns about Article 361, and it took him nearly 1 year to react. I give credit to Honorable Alan Chasney. He listened to the concerns about the tourism levy bill, and it took him 1 day to react. They both listened and reacted, one for approximately 1 year and the other for 1 day. What more can I say? For commentary, this is Jacintha Annius-Lee.